I wasn't sure if you could hear me. I just wanted to say that it just briefly my testimony about the feast. My husband and I got married in 2006, so it was really interesting to hear people's testimony and the dates and when John wrote the book and all that, because we got married in 2006, and when we were planning the wedding, my wedding coordinator said, I had 5 bridesmaids, and she said, and I said, oh, I was thinking about having them carry a candle like the 5 wise virgins. And that gave her the idea to do this wedding and play. So we ended up doing a play on Sabbath and during the church service, and we got married under the hoopah canopy, and we did all this stuff. And she wrote up from Spirit of Prophecy, the Bible and the Jewish culture, all the meaning of it. And I was doing the props and the costumes and all that stuff. And it was like 2 weeks before, and I said, you got to give me the script so I can finish up the stuff, you know. And she gave it to me. When I read it, it was just like scales fell off my eyes. And it was like God said to me, Sharon, you got to dig deeper. There's more. You're just reading on the surface. And so that kind of set me on a search. And I went to the library and I started looking for stuff, and I really couldn't find anything. And then God sent this couple who was, he was Messianic and she was from an Adventist background, to our church just for like 9 months, just long enough so that we could watch John's videos and Elder Bandberg's videos and learn more. But it was just amazing how one thing led to another. But you know, I really appreciated his sweet spirit. I wanted to say that. And there is one thing that he said that I have quoted many times, and that is, he said, some of us owe our soul and our salvation to the Adventist church. And, you know, I really appreciated that, the spirit of that. And I feel that way myself. And that's my other testimony of being converted. But I guess one thing I've noticed in getting acquainted and hearing the testimony of different people that have accepted the feast is, it seems like there's very few people who come straight from the Adventist church into the feast. Most of them either have left the church, become discouraged, and then they come back, or it's people like the lady who just gave her testimony that they've newly, you know, come to understand the Sabbath, and then the Lord has led them to the feast. Because they're already in that mode of learning and changing, you know. And sometimes those who have been, but I'm one who came straight, you know, I saw it. I know it was just, like I said, it was like scales fell off my eyes. And it's amazing because when I was in college, I wanted to study Leviticus in this Bible study group I was in, but nobody wanted to study it because I read it and I thought, what does all this mean, you know? And I don't know. I never heard about it until, I guess it was 2007, right shortly after we got married. And so when my husband proposed to me, I kind of laughed at him and I said, what do you want to marry me for? And he said, it's providential. And I didn't see it until after we got married. And then as I saw how the Lord led us through our relationship and this whole wedding, getting married under the hoopah canopy and everything, how it really was providential, you know. And we
And
just.
where do you live?
Oregon.
Okay. Well, what's your last name?
Graham.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and you know my husband because he sends you things, and
Yes.
you know, you've been in communication with him. So anyway, so then, you know, one of the things that I learned after I got, well, we first learned from, somebody gave me a video of Michael Rood before we listened to John Vanderberg, and that's when it really, and we didn't understand a lot of it, just went over our head. But of course, I knew my Bible well enough that I could see the truth in it, and I had already kind of, because I have relatives who are for Jehovah's Witnesses, and so they were, you know, anti-holidays and stuff. So I basically had never had a Christmas tree. But one of the things that really impressed me was or got me wondering what Michael Rood was talking about, the stars and what happened when Jesus, when he died and when he was born and all of that. And I was very impressed by that because I have a lot of relatives who aren't, you know, they're not really Christians. They don't go to church. They believe in God, but they are also into horoscope and stuff. So when I learned about the gospel and the stars, I was just really impressed. That was something you could use to witness to people. And I started sharing it with a lot of people. And then my nephew was 10 then. He's just turned 17. And he was interested in the stars. And so I looked for something for children and I couldn't find anything. So I ended up writing a book. And so I have a book that's the children's story of the prince, the princess, and the dragon, the great controversy in the stars. And that's a full color storybook. And it has a workbook which goes with it. And it has dot to dot pictures and the names of the stars, the meaning of the stars, and then pictures for them to color, and then the Bible verses that all correspond with it.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I have Atlas in the back with it.
How can somebody get those?
You can get them on Amazon. They also sell them at the ABC here in Oregon, but I haven't got them into any of the other ABCs. I just wasn't quite sure how to go about that, but I did have a signing 3 years ago at camp meeting in the authors. But one of the best things of this is it's really simplified. See, there's a lot of people that present it, but I find that it was too complicated for somebody who's just learning about it. So I took it very simplified. I made this color coded. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just the constellations. I took off the new ones and I put and I looked for ones that had some resemblance to what they're supposed to represent. And then I color coded them. So all the things that represent Yeshua are blue for the heavens. The things that represent the people of the earth are green for the earth. And then of course, Satan, the things are red that represent Satan. And it makes it really simple. And then in here, I have the Greek names, but I have also just what they represent, like the harp, instead of, and so it's very simplified. So once you learn this, and I have a Pathfinder honor in the back for the kids and also other helps for the homeschoolers. But anyways, so once you learn the basic story, you can Xerox this atlas that I made of the star atlas, and you can put that in your purse or your wallet or whatever. And when you meet people that are into horoscope, you can just tell them the basic plan of salvation in like 10 minutes. And I share it with people everywhere I go, and I have not had one person say they don't want to hear it. It's just phenomenal. And I feel like it reaches people that aren't reached by other traditional means of evangelism. And so I just wanted to share that with you. So you can go on Amazon and you can look either under the names of my books. The workbook is called, he calls the stars by name. And, or you can get it on Amazon. So it's under my name, Sharon Graham, or under the books. So, or if you look for
thank you very much.
Gospel and Stars, you might find it also. So, but.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Anyway, so but I've been watching you guys. We've been watching. My husband has some health issues, so he hadn't been able to attend the feast with me for 5 or 6 years now, but he's been faithfully watching you guys. Even if I go out of town to a feast, he's at home watching you guys.
All right, well, I do know that name, so
yeah.
thank you.